Today's Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. I'm Brent Nally. Really excited to be here with Rowan Horan, the founder and CEO and president and the Minister of Enlightenment of the Eternal Life Fan Club. Rowan, thanks for having me here.
I like that title. Minister of Enlightenment.
Minister of
Yes.
I
Enlightenment.
just gave you all the
Yes.
best titles, right?
Love it.
So I was actually in 2018, my wife and I traveled the world, and we were in none other than Bulgaria, in Sofia, Bulgaria, in a museum. And we were in this old school museum, and we saw this like old school title from like this church in the early 1800s or something, and the person called themselves the Minister of Enlightenment.
Oh
And I was
wow.
what?
Oh wow.
So I updated my LinkedIn profile for, my CryptoWorks company. I'm the founder and CEO of that. And then I updated my LinkedIn to also be the Minister of Enlightenment. I just like that title.
It is. It's cool. It sounds so religious. It sounds like you're starting a cult. You know.
That's right. It's hilarious, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be religious. It's just that we're Minister of Enlightenment. So, um, Rowan, I can designate you the Minister of Enlightenment of our longevity brand. How's that sound?
Ooh. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Cool. So we're going to just continue from our live stream last night with Naveen Jain, not with Naveen Jain, but in preparation for our live stream with Naveen Jain, which is going to be June 16th, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Definitely set your calendars. Check the live stream. Rowan, can you put the link to the YouTube live stream there? We already have it set up, so you can set a reminder.
Yes.
And then I am also going to put a link to the event. I created an event on Facebook for this live stream with Naveen Jain as well too. And I'm going to put in a link to our Twitter, a tweet that I did to promote this, tagging Naveen Jain. So definitely, follow Naveen on social media. And I also did a YouTube. I also did a LinkedIn post as well.
Yeah,
For Naveen
give
Jain.
me any links you want to promote, and I can put them all in the description, Brent.
I'm gonna put them all in right here. I'm doing it right now. Oh, it's too long. Damn it. This freaking event on Facebook is insanely long. 246 characters. So it's too long. There's a 200 character max for it.
Oh,
For
in the
each
in the
chat.
live chat. Okay.
The live chat.
Okay.
So we'll have to put it into a description.
Right. I was talking about the video description. I can edit that any way you want. Just send me any links you want me to put in there.
Send it to you on Facebook right now.
Okay.
So this is what it's like trying to be a longevity enthusiast entrepreneur here. Lots of hard work, but we're getting better. We're being more creative, and Naveen Jain's a billionaire. He is a very successful entrepreneur. He is an incredible person. Again, if you haven't yet watched our live stream from last night where we talked about Naveen Jain, watched some YouTube videos he was in and commentated on those, I highly recommend you check that out and check out his other content on YouTube, because I'm super excited about the microbiome, which is what Naveen Jain is really excited about, and its potential to help us slow, stop, and reverse chronic conditions and aging potentially as well by utilizing the technology at Viome to help us understand our microbiome more and make it more healthy. So it's really, really fascinating things. And, whenever I interview these longevity thought leaders that I've been interviewing for a while now, I'll ask most of them. I always try to ask them about the microbiome. And almost all of them have a general reply of, yeah, looks super fascinating. It's kind of early on in the science and the understanding of it. But from what we can tell, it seems very, very fascinating. It seems to be very important. Well, not seems, it is very important for proper health.
Yes. I'm pretty fascinated by the connection with the microbiome and like neurotransmitters and like mental health and like psychology, like the neurotransmitters going on in our think they literally create neurotransmitters. I think that's what the microbiome is doing, and that is so huge for. Yeah, it's so connected with mental health.
100%, Rowan. And Rowan, on Facebook Messenger, I just sent you the link to the Facebook event, the Naveen Jain live stream, and I sent you the link to the LinkedIn post that I did. So everybody, please go to the description in this video that I'm streaming right now, and click on that link to the Facebook event. And Facebook's really glitchy or annoying like this. When you go to the event, it says interested. You have to click on interested, and then it will drop down to going. So we want you to click going, so that then Facebook will give you a reminder of this event and you can actually show up.
So you can't just click one button, going, from the very start?
Nope, they don't have. They used to have it there as an option, right? I remember Facebook used to have that there. Boom, I'm going. Now it just says interested, and if you don't actually click on that, then it won't bring the drop down for going. Really annoying event. So you can actually, the link is in the description below. Go to the Facebook event, click on going, and also we have the link to the actual YouTube on our longevity channel, Naveen Jain live stream. Is that already in the live chat, Rowan?
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. So that's in the live chat. And then I also, Rowan, sent you a link to a tweet that I did tagging Naveen Jain and Viome. So Naveen Jain is the founder and CEO of Viome, stands for Victory of the Microbiome. So go there, like, retweet, comment on that tweet. What we're really trying to do is we're trying to impress Naveen that, hey, people actually care. We have likes and retweets, and get him to retweet this as well too. I'm going to send him an email and get him to retweet that. So hopefully we can get some of his followers to join our live stream as well too, because we all need to come together in this longevity movement. We want the people who are already interested in the microbiome and Viome to, see our content, see who we're interviewing, connect people, and vice versa. So there's lots of fascinating things, Rowan. We might want to do this soon. Yesterday you showed me that video from the Ripley's, believe it or not, with Dean Cain back from 2002 about this guy who has been eating rancid, moldy, disgusting food and meats and stuff. He leaves in a jar for like a year and even opens it up every now and then to get more oxygen, to get more mold, and closes it back up in these mason jars and just eats this nasty rancid food. And he was in his 50s at the time the video was recorded in 2002, and he looked pretty darn healthy. And he had an interesting backstory of very bad health scare of cancer. Thought he was very near death, which is what led him to even try these things. Yeah. Maybe we could watch that little 4-minute video. So the whole point is that remind people health and this journey that we're all on in this strange reality takes you for twists and turns, and it's more fascinating than you could ever imagine. I think truth is stranger than fiction. And
indeed,
watch that. I mean, it's not on topic with Naveen Jain, Rowan, but would you want to maybe watch that video?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
For sure.
What we're talking about.
Yes.
Did you get all those links into the description, Rowan?
I got the Facebook event. I still need to update the other ones.
Okay, let's do that first. Let's do one thing at a time here.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'll keep chatting. So Naveen Jain has a lot of really fascinating quotes. The more you watch him, the more you see him repeat a lot of the same things, which I'm cool with that. I actually like people's greatest hits, because those are the things that they really, really care about, the things that people that I watch repeat over and over again. And that's how I get really solidify the things that are important to that individual. So one of the things that Naveen Jain says over and over and over again is that he's trying to make all chronic diseases optional with the microbiome and his company Viome. So very, very selective, specific language there. he's trying to make chronic diseases optional, meaning like, oh, you don't want to buy our biome kit and follow our suggestions, then you'll just continue along the same path of getting all these horrible chronic diseases that unfortunately most people still believe are not that there's nothing you can do about them,
Yeah,
which
they think they're inevitable. It's so fatalistic. It's
inevitable, right? Which they're definitely not. All of them. And so that's something he says, a quote that we caught last night in the little 15-minute How to Be a Billionaire documentary about him, which I find super cool, is Naveen Jain says that if you tell somebody your business idea and they don't think you're crazy, then you're on the wrong path.
right. I like that one.
Big. He wants you to think so big. I mean, he's been a big inspiration for me. I mean, what I am doing, most of my friends and family, I think they've never told me this to my face, but I think they think I'm crazy. And in some ways I am. People have asked Elon Musk, like, are you crazy? And he doesn't just immediately say, no, what are you talking about? I've seen people ask Elon Musk that multiple times. I think Joe Rogan asked him that in 2018 on this first interview, and Elon Musk just kind of says, yeah, in a way, by like a lot of people's definitions, I am crazy. Essentially, that's what he said. And that's kind of my response as well, too. I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk, just by the way. I'm just saying that I do recognize that I am crazy by most people's standards in this world. But I think, Rowan, you and I and people in our community have just figured out that aging is by far the biggest problem on the planet. There are things that we can do about it. The more research that you do, you see that it looks like we might be able to do even more and more to help solve the aging problem in humans in the coming years and decades. So why not just devote your life to this and network with people? These are some of the most incredible people in this community.
There's a good crazy. This is a good type of crazy, right? It's a bad crazy, but there's a good crazy.
Right. There are some bad crazies in this community, which we have to watch out for, and I'm getting better at recognizing the telltale signs on those people and learning how to deal with them and navigate them and even try and coach them up if they are willing to be coached up, right? Like any person, you have to be willing to want to get better. You have to recognize a problem first in order to improve a problem. Unless you're just getting blind luck, right? The only way that you can improve upon a problem is if you recognize first that it is a problem, so that way you can try and start theorizing on ways to improve it. Unless you just blind luck, you don't recognize that something's a problem and you just like get better at it somehow. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. But I'd rather figure something out and develop a plan to get better on it rather than blind luck, right?
Right.
So yeah, maybe before we focus on Naveen Jain in this live stream, let's just do this 4-minute Ripley, believe it or not, video.
Okay.
I will stay silent. We'll just let it play all the way through. But I'm just going to tell you guys, Rowan showed me this yesterday, showed my wife and I this yesterday. We Skype sometimes and do basically what we're doing right now, just not live stream. We'll share screens and pause and talk. And my wife and I both used to watch the show Ripley, believe it or not, before we knew each other, back in like the 90s and early 2000s. I really liked Dean Cain from the show Lois and Clark, and then, because of that, I watched Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I watched a lot of those episodes, but I think I would have remembered this one. So I don't think I ever saw this or heard of this. And then the final thing I'll say here is that Rowan told me not only was this guy who you're about to see, not only was this a real thing, not only did he write a book about this, like counsel people on how to do this and get better, from their health conditions, but apparently in 2020 it is still a thing and people are still uploading YouTube videos, eating rancid meats and foods that are all molded and disgusting, and I just find this absolutely fascinating. In no way are Rowan and I recommending that you do this. I'm not about to start doing this, but I'm intrigued and I want to learn more. So, Rowan, anything else before we press play?
I've basically lived in Hawaii, and in Hawaii, a lot of the people there were actually doing this diet. I was on like a farm in the jungle and everything, so there was a lot of people who are doing this particular diet, and that's where I learned about it. Was in Hawaii. Yeah, they had like, you would open the refrigerator to be just rotten meat in bowls and just crazy stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, right?
Oh, what the heck? I can't even hear anything. This one is like muted.
Huh.
That's weird. Oh no, it's just this tab is muted. Haha.
And Rowan, can you share your screen with me as well so I can watch it along with you guys?
Yes.
The bacteria that grows on spoiled food.
So quiet.
Something like this. Not very appetizing, huh? Well, Ripley's dined with a man who believes that a healthy diet consists of eating rotten meat. Wait till you see what's inside this guy's refrigerator.
What would you do if you went to the fridge for a snack and saw this? If you're Agenus Vonderplanitz, you grab a fork and dig right in. Believe it or not, he's been eating the foulest food he can find for the last 3 decades. In fact, the meat he eats every day is intentionally rotted for over a year. As a child, Agenus was constantly getting sick, and he fought through years of frustrating illness.
By the time I was probably 6, 7 years old, I developed colds and flus that would last from 3 to 5 months.
Then, in the late 60s, Agenus was diagnosed with deadly lymphoma cancer. He immediately began a series of radiation treatments to halt the deadly disease. But the cancer kept on spreading. Fearing the end was near, Agenus set out to travel the world. While in Alaska, members of a local Inuit tribe took him in. According to their custom, they encouraged the dying man to eat a remedy of raw, rotten meat.
It stunk like dead animal, and I mean, it was horrendous. I couldn't get within 5 feet without wanting to vomit. I thought I was having a near-death experience, so I went and lied down my campsite and woke the next day and I wasn't dead and I felt better.
Feeling like a new man, Agenus decided to explore in depth the world of putrid meats and organs. He discovered there's actually a science to this diet of decomposition.
Well, bacteria, virus, and parasites feed on degenerative tissue. So it helps you get rid of the poisons that are in the body. It's like the vultures and crows. They feed on degenerative animals. They don't go around attacking healthy animals.
Now, preparing food is a simple process. He chops a variety of animal parts into cubes. These he places in jars with plenty of airspace. Then, Agenus lets...
Have you ever eaten raw liver before? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I've never eaten raw liver before, but I have eaten cooked liver. I have eaten cooked liver many times, and now that we are buying the organic, free-range, cage-free chickens from my brother-in-law at his, farm in Gold Country, Coloma, Placerville area in California here, we get the full chicken, meaning all the insides. He puts them in a little Ziploc bag, drops there in the middle, we freeze them, and we eat all that stuff, the heart, the liver, and everything. It's supposed to be really good for you. We make the bone broth. And actually with the Instant Pot that we now use, the Instant Pot is so incredible. We put the bones in there and cook them. I'm not sure what temperature Lauren, my wife, does it. But whatever, when those bones come out of there, they're mush. And so then we give them to my dog. We put it in her dog food. She loves it. And it's not going to hurt her at all. They're just mush, brittle. And yeah, so nothing goes to waste. The Native Americans wasted basically nothing. And I think in the first world, we're just such a wasteful culture nowadays. And I try not to waste anything. I try not to, waste a bunch of plastic, and it's tough though. I just went to Costco today. We're going to our lake house tomorrow, and man, all the plastic, cardboard, just all this nonsense they have in the things. You know, we shop on Amazon all the time. I get all these cardboard boxes that come. You know, you get a box within a box within a box sometimes. I feel like those Russian dolls when I order things from Amazon sometimes. I'm like, this is ridiculous, you know. But what are you going to do? I can't change the world. I can only change a few things. And I'm not going to stop using Amazon because it's so darn convenient, right?
Absolutely. Totally.
Nature, take it.
I actually did eat raw liver. When I ate it, my nose started bleeding. And I think it was because there's so much iron in the liver. It's heme iron. It's so highly absorbable. And I was not eating meat at all. So my body was probably like shocked by that amount of iron. So it just like dumped it or something crazy.
You weren't in any pain though, right?
No.
And when was this that you ate?
It's like a detox. What?
When was this that you ate the raw liver?
Oh, that was like when I was like 21. I have since refined my diet and don't eat raw liver anymore. I think it's too dangerous, you know. I don't
Is
eat
this
raw
you did?
meat.
Yeah, did you do this like regularly?
When I was living in Hawaii, kind of regularly, yeah. It was a big thing everyone would do because like we would get like grass-fed organ meats, like
See,
delivered this far away.
You're kind of like peer pressured in a sense into doing it. Like everybody was doing it. Like, well, come on. Like, what's wrong with you? Why do you not want to eat raw liver? You crazy person,
In
right?
that, maybe, yeah, absolutely. In a sense, I could have been peer pressured to do it.
I mean, we're all so much more products of our environment that I think that we like to admit. You know?
Of course.
You have to open it every 3 to 4 days and put more oxygen in it to keep the bacteria moving.
The meat's not ready until mold and bacteria have done their dirty work for at least a month. But a warning, eating any spoiled food can be extremely dangerous, even deadly. Don't try this at home. In fact, it's a putrefaction process so hazardous that food safety specialist Jeff Davidson simply cannot support it.
I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be concerned with things like an E. coli, a salmonella, even botulism. Maybe you're going to vomit. You may have some days of diarrhea.
All right, this is a buffalo heart chopped up.
Oh, whoa.
I have smelt it before because some people at the farm in Hawaii were actually making high meat, and they would open it up sometimes, and I would get a whiff of it. It is powerful. It's overpowering.
Some of Agenus's favorite meats decay in their own juices for over a year.
This is cod livers. This is about a year and 3 months old.
Though doctors warn that consuming spoiled food could lead to illness or even death, Agenus claims his afflictions have miraculously disappeared. A situation he attributes to consuming spoiled cuisine. As strange as it may sound, with each bite of rotten flesh, Agenus says he only gets stronger. This rotten meat eater has even written a how-to book about his unique diet. And not only that, he's a certified nutritionist actually counseling patients to improve their health. But even with all the positive benefits he attributes to eating rotten flesh, Agenus does have one important piece of advice.
You don't want to do it in your house because it'll stink your house up.
Believe it.
Pretty interesting stuff. What I find, you're still muted, Brent.
Yeah, pretty cray-cray, right?
What I find interesting is that they say, and it would make sense, that our instincts are supposed to guide us towards survival, right? It's like we have these instincts for a reason. Like we are revolted or grossed out by certain smells and things like that. Like when we smell rotting meat, we're repulsed by it. We go, oh. So this seems to, and usually a lot of the things that we're naturally repulsed by is because they're bad for us, right? Like, so like we're repulsed by the taste of some toxic plant because we can detect those toxins and kind of grossed out by it. But with this, it's like breaking the pattern. because we would totally be repulsed by rotten meat in nature, but he is saying, like, this is something that has a huge survival advantage. It breaks that pattern, you know what I'm saying? Which is very strange.
Yeah, definitely. They gave the background there on his childhood leukemia, and I wonder, because I just learned about this yesterday, Ron, when you told me, and I haven't researched it. But I wonder if the community of people who are doing this still in 2020, and even uploading videos on YouTube of them eating this rancid food, all moldy and stuff, I wonder if they've had health problems as well too, and maybe their terrain is really sick, and in a way this is helping them, like they mentioned with like the vulture in that video. So I wonder if maybe it just doesn't smell, or their senses are not telling them that this is bad for them as maybe more healthy people. Because yeah, whenever I've seen rancid meat or food, moldy food, I've just immediately, every cell in my body, every iota of intelligence, looking at that, perceiving that every way, sight, touch, smell, is just like, ugh, get away.
Yeah, from what I've seen and heard from these people who actually eat the rotten meat, they're also repulsed by it. Like, they don't just like gravitate towards the rotten smell, like they hate it. But so it's just this weird thing that sometimes our instincts are not always our friend, right? Like, and they say, hot peppers are good for us, but our instincts tell us, oh, don't eat a hot pepper. But hot peppers are great for us. It's all kinds of things.
Well, I'm going to add this to the list of questions that we're going to ask Naveen Jain. I'm going to ask him if he's ever heard of this guy. And so, Aujanus, or whatever, Aajonus, what's his last name?
Vonderplanets. Pretty interesting name.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to add this to our list of questions. And on that note, we should probably, switch back to the purpose of this stream, which is Naveen Jain.
Yes, I haven't even told people the kind of main point of this live stream, which is that send your questions. Oh, you did mention that, actually. Send your questions in via video, and you have a chance to have them be. We're gonna ask Naveen your question. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, you can private message them to me on Facebook. You can email me, brentnally@gmail.com, brentnally@gmail.com. You can send them to Rowan. You can send them to Max Anderson or Alex Kotoff on, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're not hard to get in touch with. You can even comment on one of my YouTube videos. I read all my comments, so I'll see it that way. And make your video no longer than 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds as a max. Try and make it decent quality, because we're going to actually put the video in the bottom left-hand corner. So just like we're live streaming right now, you can see where that longevity is in the bottom left corner. That's where we will put your video there live, so Naveen can see it, and he will answer your question. He is, in my opinion, an absolute genius. And so let's talk about that real briefly.
Interesting. People are saying they can't hear me. Somebody said that. But that's weird because my audio gauge says it should be working.
Huh. I can hear you just fine. But then again, I'm on Skype just talking with you, and
yeah, let me just look through here and test it. Let's see. Saying
let me turn on.
Hear me. Huh.
Questions, and on Nally@gmail.com, BRENTNALLY@gmail.com. You can send them to Rowan, an absolute genius. And so,
I think I can hear me. Yeah.
1800. Okay. Brent is too high. Rowan is very low volume. June 10th. You know what it was, Rowan? With me being too high, my volume, I had the microphone further away. Did you do a mic test before we went live, Ron?
We didn't do the mic test. No.
Okay. So I had my microphone actually like pretty far away from me, and then I kind of brought it closer after we went live.
Uh-huh.
So I'll move it back away from me, and then you can just try and talk a little bit louder or turn your volume up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people forever is saying that mine's too high and yours is too low.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so turn yours up a little bit. You don't have to touch mine. I just move my microphone a little bit away from me, and hopefully that will help.
Yeah. I think it looks pretty even right now in the program. Alright, so want to watch a Naveen Jain video?
Real quick with Naveen, I just wanted to, gosh, what was my train of thought? I can't remember. I was gonna say something about Naveen, but yeah, let's just watch one of his videos.
Okie Naveen Jain. What video should we watch?
I'd like to watch one that I haven't seen. I've seen so many of his, but I haven't been watching more. Oh, this one's pretty good. Let's watch the Billionaire Magic one.
I was just about to mention that. I
It's
watched
just
it. I was so impressed with it.
He's just a fascinating dude, right? He can do like magic and stuff, right?
I still haven't figured out how he did it. Like, that's impressive. What the heck?
Best magic tricks, and that's why the video has 1.2 million views.
Okay.
It's also
Can he?
Cordone's YouTube channel.
What?
I said that's why the video has 1.2 million views, but then I said it's also on Grant Cardone's YouTube channel, and he has 1.3 million subscribers. So
Right. And as far as how he did this, we'll talk about that after. Let's just watch it first.
yeah, I don't know.
You haven't seen this?
I have seen it, but
Okay.
I don't know how he did this.
Yeah. It's very impressive.
Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Naveen
And it's touch, by the
Jain,
way. This is a speaking touch.
Johnny the camera guy, Marissa, Elena. I don't know what material it is, but
Okay, fine. Watch me show to read her mind.
Oh yeah, this is beautiful.
And here's how I do it.
You just do women?
Only women. Man doesn't.
why would you want to shake it?
Why would I hold a man's hand? I mean, I'm really a nice guy, but I'm just not that type.
Yeah, I got it. You're not prejudiced. You're just.
I just love
Okay,
it.
let's see it. I want to see this. This is an awesome.
So,
I need a napkin.
Carrie,
What was that?
I was just saying, can you press pause? I'm looking on the live stream right now. Your video is like really big for you, which is totally fine because Alex and Max aren't there. But mine is pretty freaking tiny.
Yours got small. That's weird because that's something that happens still. This program, whatever I'm using to catch the video feeds from Skype, it'll just like randomly change the size of the video. It's crazy. It's just technical crap.
There we go. It's back. It's better.
Okay.
And you don't have to do it right now, but it's really easy for you to just remove the S Skype, right? Like for when we're with Bean. I know you did that last night.
Yes.
Okay. Don't worry about it for now. But
Oh, check how easy it is. Boom.
you
going.
can hide something. Okay, here.
No, this is
All
good.
right,
This
now
is
watch
good.
how it works. Hold this thing, hide it when you're ready
See?
to.
You see how he gets
See,
all the
he just
ladies?
roofied,
you gotta
he just
get
roofied the
lower
drink.
Do it with the
You see
guy.
that? That was slick.
Just pick a number and then hide it. Then hide it with the thing. Okay. Okay. Good.
What's the number you're going
Okay.
for?
Good. Good. We see it. We see it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, place you up, right?
We all knew.
Okay, did you roll extra prunes? Okay.
Hey, we're ready, sir. We're ready, Mr. Copperfield. Oh yeah. Mr. Chris Mine. Or whatever.
Mind freak.
Mind freak.
Okay. See?
Okay, now you keep looking in my eyes. Don't blink.
Okay.
No blinking.
You have to say 1 to 6. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't not believe.
Nathan, you're my
One more time backward.
Okay. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can anybody guess the number was 5?
Oh,
That's crazy.
that's bananas. Wow. Let me see.
That's crazy.
That is such a cool trick.
Did Willow? That she had picked the number 5 by staring into her eyes.
She did Elena too.
And he got
2 in a
mine
row
right,
so far, 100%, 100% kill
Is it
rate.
pupil dilation?
It is
It's got to be voice. It's got to be something
got to
in the
be
voice.
how your hand changes
Oh,
when
man,
I'm
come
holding
on,
it.
man.
Seriously. Your eyes blinking, your micro expression, because the more you try not to tell me, the more you're telling me.
Okay, can
Does
you
it
do
only
a man,
work?
though?
Does it only work on women?
Okay.
Can you do me?
He doesn't want to.
So I think this is interesting. Now he just tried to explain to us.
Oh, Rowan, your audio is like really low.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but it's really low.
Okay. I don't know why. It might be low for you and not for them, because you're actually hearing my Snowball microphone. They're hearing my Blue Yeti, so you're actually hearing two different.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. So as long as.
So, anyways, what I was saying is, he's trying to explain. He's telling everyone how he's doing it, but that could be part of the trick to make him seem more impressive. Because if he's doing it by reading all these like subtle signs and things, that makes it seem more impressive, less like magic, but more like a skill of his. But that might not. He might have a total other trick that we don't know, right? That he's not revealing.
Yeah, he's a sly dog.
Stare in a man's eyes.
I'm gonna do her now.
He loves it.
Yeah.
I think this is the best trick ever.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I get to pick.
He's like,
Okay, let me see.
I'm gonna hold
Wait, hold on
every
one second.
single
Hold on
lady
one second.
fan
I'm just
in
gonna do this
room
as a
tonight.
video, dude.
In the comments, everyone was talking about this girl's like beauty. They're like, "Holy crap! Like she's so pretty."
I'm gonna do this as a video. Just hold on.
Maybe we should
Wait, me too.
No, I got it. I'll give it.
Okay.
Hey, Nathan, come video
Okay,
this for
so
a second. Hold on
okay,
one second.
So what we're doing here, ladies
Video
and
with
gentlemen,
your
is
camera
we are
this way.
going to. This gentleman over here with his back to us is going to pick the number she selects. What is your name again?
Kate.
Kate.
Beautiful volunteer, by the way.
Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous.
Okay,
right?
let's give a hand
All right,
for
Kate,
Kate.
Come on, Kate.
Hey.
Shake it up. Don't. Let's go. Ready?
All right.
Put it in there and hide it.
A number.
Let me see what number you
Let
pick.
us all see.
Okay, put it in
Oh,
there.
that's the
Good,
number. Everybody
good,
sees the
good.
number.
Put it in
Okay,
there.
put it underneath. Put it underneath.
But show that number. That number's got to be up though.
Yeah. Come on, there we
Okay,
go.
we see it. We see
All
it.
right,
We
all
see
right,
it.
all right.
Okay.
All right,
It's
Mr.
hidden.
Naveen, you get your
What if we put a little cheese on it, guys? Will that?
Okay.
maybe so.
Well, I laugh a lot, so let me just kind of.
Okay, she's getting composed, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep looking at me.
Look at the look. Look at
Get the number. 1, 2, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Could everybody guess the number had to be 6?
Wait, open it up. What number is it?
Oh no, wait, there it is. That's damn good.
She was. You didn't even have to check on her, dude. That was quick.
Yeah, that was easy. That seemed like an easy one.
Huh?
That
Okay, I
was
want to see if you
Did
can
I
do
like
it.
emphasize
Really?
6?
I want to see if you can do me. You up to the challenge? I've been.
The whole thing could just be like for social media too. It could just be a big joke, to get views, right?
Right. Everyone there could have been paid off.
Yep, totally. I mean, 1.3 million views, that's money. I mean, we're not making any money on any of our YouTube. I'm making the tiniest little bit. I only have ads turned on because YouTube algorithms crush you if you don't have them turned on. You should turn yours on, Ron.
My what?
You should turn ads on just so that more people find your content.
Oh, I thought I did. But I do have mine on now. I think.
Maybe you do. You don't have to check.
But yeah, I think David Blaine definitely pays people like to accomplish his tricks. I think for sure those are not just people that he'd never met. A lot of times at least.
Yeah, but some of his tricks are insane.
I've been
Like
doing-
when he shoves needles through himself. Like those aren't tricks. He's actually doing things. He practiced them and learned how to control his mind and his emotional intelligence, deal with the pain. I mean, you've seen that where he's shoved things through him, and they're like, "Oh, there's no way! Like you actually did that." And then he actually has a X-ray, and you can see it through his arm and through his mouth. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then he does, what was it? Oh, he regurgitates a bunch of water. Yeah, that's another trick he does.
When he was underwater for what was it, like 17 minutes or something?
Yeah,
Google
something like that.
Google fact check me on that, but it was something absurd. It was like the longest anybody has ever been on water is like 6 minutes, and he almost like died, passed out. Like when he tried it, but I think I could be wrong on this. I definitely am wrong. I don't remember the exact time, but my memories tell me like 17 minutes he stayed underwater without oxygen. I mean, regardless of anything, David Blaine is just an incredible human being, and he shows the power of the human spirit to accomplish something that almost everybody seems to believe is impossible, with just enough sheer willpower and determination and time and energy and effort and focus and persistence to just accomplish a goal. And that's what we have to take, that type of outlook and approach to solving the aging problem. I mean, we really need more of a community here. We need thousands of people on this live stream, millions of people on this live stream. If we can get to that point, I think that we can solve the aging problem. We're really just trying to get people excited and educated about this, like the naked mole rat stuff and hyaluronic acid. That we just interviewed Vera Gorbanova 3 nights ago on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
She can't do all this research herself and her team at University of Rochester. They have limited resources. We need the whole planet looking into this hyaluronic acid more and doing tests on other humans and animals to see what's going on, and stop wasting their time on other things that are just not as important. So
our job is really a lot psychological. It's like we have to be psychologists, and like how to influence people, how
Right.
to get to them emotionally, how to change their mind. Like that's big psychological stuff there.
And we need to get better at being like YouTubers and influencers, because Rowan, I know that you and Max in particular have watched more like YouTube influencers than I have. I have watched YouTube for like documentaries to learn things. I've watched some like influencers, but they're all just health influencers, because I've only been interested in like health and wealth and things like that. So like cryptocurrency things. But I probably should branch out more and just watch some more of these popular YouTubers who have, tens of millions of views. And Mr. Beast, who has like over 35 million, subscribers at this point, and just kind of see what kind of content that they're creating, so that we can use these type of ideas to put into our content to make it more engaging, draw in more of an audience from the infotainment standpoint, then boom, hit them with the science, hit them with the longevity knowledge that we have, and get better at refining our. I bring a strong sales background though. I've been refining elevator pitches for sales for 15 years in all different industries, and so that's the skill set that I bring to this. And I think that we have a pretty compelling elevator pitch to people, because most people just start off like, hey, did you know that aging and age-related diseases is killing 110,000 people every single day? No, I had no idea of that. Yeah, most people don't. It's pretty pathetic that people don't know this. It's a failure of our institutions at every single level globally that more people don't know this. Out of 150,000 people, it's like 73% of all deaths are from aging or age-related diseases. Why aren't we doing more about this? Makes zero sense.
Exactly. Absolutely. You said it. We live in a crazy clown world. Nothing makes sense here. Well, some things make sense.
All right, you can finish this video.
Deals for years, okay?
He's like,
I've been doing deals.
Let's see the poker man how he does.
Let's see. I've been doing some big deals in my time,
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I have to get this one. I have to get this one. Hold on.
Okay,
hold
so
on.
he knows I'm not going to pick the number 6.
Speaking of crazy, one of my favorite quotes that have to do with this theme of craziness is from that Seal song. You know that Seal song called Crazy?
Yeah, Seal, the black guy with
Yes.
the face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
crazy.
He has a song where the line is, "We're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy, but we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy." And yeah,
that's an immortalist quote.
What?
That's an immortalist quote, right?
Yes, exactly. And the Mad Alice, the last Alice in Wonderland movie, had a similar idea. It had like it talked about a land filled with mystery, danger, and everything, and it said, some say to survive it, you need to be as mad as a hatter. It's just that theme again, that pattern that comes up, that like a little bit of craziness, if it's the right type of craziness, it's actually can help you, right?
Totally. It's got to be the right type of crazy, though.
Yeah, it's got to be the right type of crazy. That's important, very important.
Yeah.
It can't be like the Joker crazy. Like that's the type of crazy that people like put on a pedestal now. You notice that? Like people idolize like the Joker and like these evil types of crazy. That's not good.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
Right? He knows that because it's been picked twice.
That sounds like the Princess Bride. So I clearly cannot take the cup which is in front of me.
Okay, Mr. Cardell, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pick this number right here, guys.
Why don't I just roll it and see what
Okay, I'm gonna pick this number. I'm gonna pick this number because this is my number playing baseball in college.
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
you guys got the number? Everybody got the number?
There it is.
There it is.
Okay, let's see. Can he tell?
Okay.
Can he
he
find
goes
out from the
right
mind of a master
Mr.
negotiator?
Naveen over here is going to fondle
did you see it?
Grant's hand.
Did you see it?
Oh, he saw
You kind of saw it, didn't you?
Come on, pick a different
Did you
one.
see anything?
I can see it.
I believe you. I believe you.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, no, I got to put the hard rock on here. Maybe they'll give
Come
us
on,
a deal.
you're
Okay,
burning my
I'm
throat,
ready.
dude. All right, Mr. Naveen.
I'm ready.
we are
I just
ready.
changed it. Maybe I get a deal from the hard rock.
Let's not be anticlimactic here. Okay. Let's get that
Whoa.
hand. Oh.
Is my hand smooth? Is it smooth? Do you feel sexy right now?
Go. 1 to 6.
Count out loud. Go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5,
Guy does 4 and thinks he's not telling me.
That guy did an interesting like head movement whenever he said a new number. His like head would go to tilt. It's weird.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, that's Grant Cardone right there, and this is his YouTube channel we're watching, and he's got 1.35 million subscribers as we're watching right now on June 10th, 2020, and he's a very effective communicator and salesperson. So you can see him smiling there, like you're not gonna out psychology me, Naveen Jain. I'm gonna out psychology you, and it's just funny to watch Grant's face there as he just gets owned by Naveen. And Naveen, this is why I do not think that this was staged. I was just kind of throwing out it could be, but I do not think this was staged. These are big egos, and these guys are just having fun here. I don't know how Naveen did this. There's a number of different ways that he could have pulled this off, and I have no idea which one it is.
Oh my gosh, Grant Cardone talks about some risque topics. Look at this.
Jeffrey Epstein, aliens, coronavirus, and the recession. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Rowan. You can have financial freedom by being super wealthy or by being super poor. Just saying, fuck it. I'm just like, I'm living on the beach. I'm going to be homeless. Or you can be super wealthy, which gives you the freedom to do like kind of whatever you want. Elon Musk can tweet pretty much whatever he wants as long as he's not breaking the law. He's free to speak out for all of us, which he did, thank goodness, by speaking truth about COVID-19. But, what I've said is that we just need to be careful about the things that we say on the internet right now, because we're really still nobodies. And, I'm cool to talk about aliens. I'm fascinated by aliens. I watch Ancient Aliens. I've researched aliens. I mean, lots of people are. I'm probably no more unique than anybody there, but I've done a lot of research on aliens, and I think that they almost certainly do exist. And hey, Rowan, while we're here on YouTube, you want to pull up the little humanoid creature there that I've shown you before?
Humanoid creature.
You can just type in Sirius, Sirius, into YouTube. And you can type Sirius. And you probably have to type in then like humanoid or something, or alien. Okay, so there's the actual movie. Yeah, look at that thing.
Oh.
I showed you this, right?
I don't remember you showing me this.
Shit, did I not show you this? So, dude, this is real.
This is real? Are you no?
Yes, this is real. Okay, wow, I haven't told you this. So, this was back in like 2012 when this documentary called Sirius came out. Sirius. You just had it open there. They have them.
This really might not be real, given by how many dislikes there are. Usually, when
just hear me out. Just hear me out. This humanoid creature that you're looking at right there is a real humanoid creature. Its DNA has been tested by a Stanford DNA expert. It was documented in a documentary called Sirius, Sirius, that came out. The documentary is made by Dr. Stephen Greer, Greer. He's a UFOologist, but he's one of the more credible ones. A lot of people will poo-poo him and say that, oh, he's wrong on this and that, and he's not right on everything. But I think his intentions are well. Last I heard was years ago, this little creature was in Barcelona in Spain in a museum being, highly protected and preserved. According to this geneticist, PhD at Stanford University, one of the most, well-respected and prestigious universities on planet Earth, he's also a genetic bone specialist. This creature was not, according to him, it was not just like a little fetus that died or something. Because apparently its leg bones showed that it was walking upright for probably about 7 years. This little creature was found in the Atacama Desert in Peru, and what that title is showing there, Rowan, on YouTube, is saying this weird skeleton is definitely not an alien. So I agree that it's almost certainly not an alien meaning from another planet. However, this is a humanoid. It has very similar DNA to us, Homo sapiens. When its DNA was tested, it's just a little different. Like, it has a different amount of ribs as us humans have. I don't remember how many ribs humans have, but this one has like 1 or 2 more or less. But this thing was alive at some point, and according to this Stanford PhD geneticist, bone expert, it was walking upright.
Dude, what if it's a fairy?
I have no idea, man. I don't think it was a fairy, but maybe, here's the thing, maybe fairies are real. Maybe vampires are real. Maybe this is why now we're learning about young, human plasma. It seems to be very healthy for people, from my personal research and anecdotal evidence, right? Don't come down on me too hard here. From what I've researched, it seems to be very healthy. And bats. What did Vera Gorbanova bring up on our live stream? A very esteemed scientist in longevity, Vera Gorbanova, brought up, bats, how they are very long-lived and healthy. So you add all this stuff up, vampires turn into bats, and vampires living long, and they're scared of garlic. Garlic is healthy. Like, there's all this, I don't know, there's just too many weird things about some of our, cultural things. You have zombies, right? Like being essentially the Walking Dead. We now know about like zombie cells in our bodies, senescent cells.
Right.
On and on and on. We talked about, I think last night, the microbiome, trust your gut. Almost every single culture that I've researched has somewhere in their language they say trust your gut or go with your gut. We now know that the microbiome in the gut is connected from the vagus nerve to the brain. Trust your heart, 40,000 neural cells in the heart, telling the brain first what to think in many cases. So these sayings from all of our ancient cultures, or at least many of our ancient cultures, have a lot of strong science behind them. So the question is, how do they know that? I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm just throwing out things.
Doesn't, like, this kind of theme we're talking about here, it reminds me of stuff Greg Braden gets into, isn't that
Yes.
right? He talks about like movies a lot and how movies imitate life and life imitating art, and like we're creating these movies, and he thinks there's a more profound meaning to it all, that the reason we're creating these movies is to I don't know how if I'm describing it well at all. I'm definitely not. You should subscribe.
You actually are. I can finish if you lost your train of thought. I can kind of finish the punchline.
Okay.
The last.
Please do.
He was saying, he talks about this quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Greg Braden. I don't think he's right about everything. I think he's been wrong on a number of things, but I think that he's doing way more net positive for our planet than net negative. He's a very intelligent person, and I don't think he's meaning to do harm on certain things that I believe he's been wrong about. He's very well researched things, and what I've heard him say multiple times, Rowan, is that our culture has all of these movies and works of art and things like that, and a lot of people think that we're making these movies or this art as just maybe like randomness or some type of expression to like send a message. But what he's saying is like kind of a step further down the rabbit hole, or a few more steps ahead of that, of like maybe this art in a way is actually creating our reality way more than people actually realize.
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree with that. Like, think about, like, Seinfeld, okay? Like, I was just watching some Seinfeld today, and I was just thinking, like, what an incredible show. Like, it is unbelievably perfect, like, the way everything aligned, you know? Like,
right.
They had the perfect cast. Perfect freaking cast. Like, the perfect... Just, like, the way it was filmed was just, like, unbelievable. It seems like a genius...
Yeah, the chemistry is just uncanny, right?
It's insane. So, and that, just there being a Seinfeld that it created, think about what that changed in our reality. That changed a lot.
Oh, yeah. And whenever I run across people nowadays and Seinfeld comes up, they're like, oh, yeah, I never watched that show or something. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? This is like the best comedy of all time. And even when you watch it now in 2020, it's still hilarious, but some episodes show you just how much our culture has changed in a mere 20, 30 years. Because many of the storylines in that show are just completely irrelevant nowadays, because you could be like, oh, I solved the whole problem of the episode with a text message. Quick phone call would have fixed that with your smartphone. Technology has disrupted and changed everything, but I just finished season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is Larry David, who's the co-founder of Seinfeld, along with Jerry Seinfeld, and the co-writer of all the episodes.
He's
Larry,
a comedy genius, unbelievable.
Yeah, comedic genius. And season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm he crushed it. So, in other words, what I'm saying is that he's a brilliant writer, regardless of like the time and the technology. His intelligence and his wit, just his comedic genius, is still as strong as ever.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Just getting back to this, if you want to, this is real. If people want to look into this more, there's a documentary called Serious, Rowan. If you just go back on this, if you had it up, people can watch it on YouTube. It looks like you'll have to pay for it. I know it was on Netflix at one point. If you scroll, maybe just type in Serious. Yeah, there it is right there. Buy or rent. 2014. Okay, I said 2013. I felt like it came out in 2013.
Is how art.
There it is. Look at that.
Let's watch the trailer real quick. Watch the trailer.
Unbelievable. Okay.
I cannot stress this enough. This is not fake. This is not staged. I researched this thoroughly, and I showed so many friends and family. I actually showed Keith Cometto this maybe about a week or 2 days ago when we were on Skype privately, and he had never seen this. And so what I posed to Keith is the same thing I posed to everybody. Hey, listen, after I tell you the things that I basically just told the audience here, this is definitely a real humanoid. Tested its DNA. At the very least, don't you find it odd and probably upsetting and frustrating that you didn't know about this until where we June of 2020 or whenever you're watching this video, isn't that a failure of our mainstream media and governments and just institutions in general? That are
failure.
It's a complete failure. Why isn't this on the cover of every single magazine, digital and real, and newspaper, and the head story of a? Because this is, I can't stress this enough. This is not fake. I'm not saying that this is an alien. I'm not saying it's from another planet. I'm just saying that at the very least, this is a huge story for the history of evolution on this planet regarding humans and human-like creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And
anybody, what's the name of what's?
I haven't researched this in maybe 5 years or so, right? So if there's any new information that's come out on this, please fact check me. I'm not a crazy person. I'm open to any new information that's coming out on this. But from what I researched back then, and if you watch this serious documentary, I mean, from my memory, they probably did 7 or 8 straight minutes of the PhD at Stanford talking about his findings. He was kind of chastised by his colleagues first for even taking on this project, even engaging with Stephen Greer and this little humanoid creature. But when he tested his DNA, he was like, okay, well, here's what we found. This is real. And then at that point, he was even chastised even more. But he's like, at that point, he's like, all right, aren't we supposed to be scientists here? Are we supposed to be about science and not about, isn't science supposed to be paramount? Isn't that supposed to be the most important thing here? And I feel like where this relates to the whole aging community is the articles written about young human plasma transfusions and things like, oh, well, that's not proven, or like, oh, that's dangerous. It's like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, we know it's not proven. That's why we want to look into it, but there's good reason to look into it. And plasma infusions are generally very safe. That's why they do them for people who are in dire conditions, and that's why they tend to help, and that's why people continue to do them. Why don't we try young human plasma transfusions for people who are not on their deathbed, so to speak, like going to die in minutes, hours, days, or weeks? Why don't we try it for people who want to spend the money, who might be 10, 20, 30, 40 years from death? See if it can help them out. It seems to me to be perfect, logical, rational, healthy in a free market economy. I mean, if we are supposed to be a free society in America and in other first world countries, then why is this even like something that's controversial? That's my question.
I agree. And it is just a travesty that everyone doesn't know about this. If this is indeed real, that's insane.
Let's watch. This is a 2-minute trailer. Just watch the trailer.
Look at that thing. Okay, yeah, let's watch the trailer.
Is how are they getting here?
They're talking about an entirely new science. The problem is when you begin to expose the energy and propulsion systems behind how they're getting here.
What scientists need to do is they need to look at the hardcore evidence, decide that, oh my gosh, ETs are real, and then get over that. Then you can start extrapolating.
These sciences have been around for decades. They have been ruthlessly kept secret because of the power of a centralized petrodollar oil, gas, coal system. And right now, these misanthropic sociopaths are running the planet into the ground.
Governments have not gone far enough, so we've decided that as people to form our own movement.
All right, game on. Roll one.
What we are attempting to achieve is a device which defeats the perpendicular force of gravity.
We have so many modes of converting quantum vacuum energy or zero-point energy.
This possible EVE was found in the Atacama Desert.
We have the best scientists that are going to be doing the DNA testing.
And this is probably the most important thing going on this planet today, and yet nobody talks about it.
Serious. Become a believer. From Tri-Coast Worldwide.
So obviously you can see in this trailer, Rowan, that they're trying to say that this little creature is an alien, whereas to me, there's not strong evidence of that. I personally believe it's much more likely that that creature just came from this planet, evolved on Earth and lived here. Now, I'm still open to the idea that humans and many other species were seeded here by other planets. That's not as crazy as a lot of people might think if you look into certain data.
Look, Dr. Stephen Greer was on Joe Rogan. Cool.
Yep, I watched that one. I've watched a lot of Stephen Greer content over the years. He's a guy who really makes you think, makes you go, a fascinating guy. Yeah, over 2 million views here for this one. And look at Joe Rogan's quality back then. I've been watching Joe for a long time. I remember this.
Yeah.
With the bricks.
Yeah, it's certainly improved a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, but what I love about Joe is he's just doing his thing. He was never. It's always just been him, right? Just doing his thing. Never let the big corporate media take him over. We'll see what happens with his new Spotify deal. If they try and control him and do any censorship, I'm very confident that Joe wrote into that deal out any, issues with that, unless they just paid him. I don't know how much he got paid. I saw that maybe a week ago that he might be the highest paid media person on the planet, period, in any type of broadcasting with the Spotify deal.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how much the times are changing. And he was just started off smoking weed in like 2010, uploading YouTube videos, like talking with his buddies on his futon. He was already super famous back then. Of course, he did Fear Factor, and
I love that show.
I love that show too.
Great show.
But I'd highly encourage people to check out Sirius, Sirius, the documentary. You could tell from the trailer there that they're talking about like 0-point energy, zero gravity energy. Here it is now, Rowan. We just passed midnight. It is June 11th, 2020. And as of yesterday, Nikola, the electric car and truck and semi-truck startup that started about 6 years ago, just went public on Monday. Today is Wednesday. It's actually technically Thursday now because we passed midnight. And Nikola's stock hit a market cap of $31 billion, surpassing Ford.
Wow.
Okay? I think Ford has a market cap currently of about 28 billion or so, maybe 27. I haven't checked in the last few days, but
oh my gosh, this is the same type of bus they had in the Sonic movie. I think it was literally the same thing.
Product placement?
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, this is how crazy and how speculative our stock markets are, right? We have a company with Ford that's been around for over 100 years, and they do over $100 billion of revenue annually, and they have a market cap of like 27 billion or whatever it is right now. You can fact check me for June 11th, 2020, and yet you have this speculative company, Nikola, come out and says that they're going to make electric and hydrofuel hybrid trucks, for consumers. There it is right there. And then semi-trucks for commercial sales. And they have a speculative market cap of 31 billion. I think the stock went down a little bit today. It might have come back down to 27, 28 billion. They literally haven't sold a car. They have zero sales, zero revenue.
Wow.
So, but that tells you what the market is anticipating. That tells you what investors are thinking about. Electric cars are the future, period. And Tesla's dominating the electric market globally for all automobiles. So Tesla today actually just hit $1,000 a share for the first time ever, surpassed $1,000. So the world is changing fast. We don't just want to solve aging. We want to solve all the ways that humans die. And about 3,800 people die every single day in car accidents. So I think Tesla, for maybe reasons that we shouldn't get into now, I think Tesla has the best chance to solve the self-driving car problem. I could talk about it in great length, but now is probably not the best time.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we should do before we...
I guess we didn't talk much about Naveen Jain.
I know.
If you're hopping on late or something, or haven't seen this, just please, go ahead and click on the Naveen Jain link here in the description for the YouTube video on our longevity channel. Click that you are going to come to that video. There's also in the description a link to the event on Facebook I created for this live stream. Go ahead and click going on that. You have to click on the interested, it drops down and you can click going. Go to the tweet that I tweeted with the link of the live stream as well too, because I tagged Naveen in the official Twitter Biome account. We want to get that tweet and retweet and comments up so that Naveen sees it and he's impressed, right? We're trying to show them what the longevity community is all about, right? So let's get people to actually get engaged on this.
Gotta have energy.
Energy, right?
Yeah.
Always hear about the naked mole rat study that made the news the other day. Low oxygen, high carbon dioxide extends their lifespans. I did not hear about that Infinite Siren. We just live streamed with, Vera Gorbanova, the leader as far as naked mole rats go, as far as I know. I didn't hear her define herself that way because she's humble, but is that fair to say, Rowan?
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and hyaluronic acid, I think she's led that research more than any other human on the planet. So unless this is like really new information that came out after our live stream on Monday, literally 48 hours ago, 48 hours ago, maybe 54 hours ago now or something, then I would be shocked that she didn't bring this up in our live stream. So
Yeah.
no, I've not heard of that.
That's pretty amazing, and I think a cave would have that higher carbon dioxide, lower oxygen. I bet underground would, right?
Yeah, yep.
So
Infinite
wow.
Siren, if you're still listening, Infinite Siren, can you please share a link in the live chat to any information on this? That would be great.
Yeah, more confirmation. We gotta be living underground, getting our caves.
Yeah, for sure. So the Twitter, and then also on LinkedIn. In the description of this video, there's also a link to a LinkedIn post that I did. So follow me on LinkedIn, follow Rowan, follow Max Anderson, follow our longevity page. There's a hyperlink to our LinkedIn longevity page from that link as well too. Follow our longevity page. We'll be posting lots of content on there. We're trying to connect with the top scientists and entrepreneurs on LinkedIn. We're trying to bring this community together in every way. We all need to work together more if we're going to solve the aging problem. Money is important. We all need to be supported financially, but money isn't the main driver here. We're trying to solve aging. I will do anything I can in my power to solve the aging problem. So that's what I'm working on nonstop. I'm even sleeping and dreaming about it. When I go to sleep here soon, I'm going to be dreaming about how are we going to solve aging? How are we going to do it? Because I don't want to die. I don't want my parents to die. I don't want my wife, my son. I don't want my dog to die. My dog's like 6.5. She's a multi-Shan breed. She might live 15, 17, maybe 19 years at most with current technologies. I love that dog so much. I want her to live. I want her to have eternal life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Death is sad when anything dies. Pets, but especially humans. Oh my gosh.
So folks, see that right there? It says set a reminder right there on what Rowan has up there for Naveen Jain. So click on that set reminder, and then whenever you log on YouTube, it will notify you. And what we should also do, Rowan? I'll do this on our longevity YouTube channel. In the description, I'll put in the Facebook events, and I'll put in the LinkedIn and the Twitter posts as well too, so that people as well.
Perfect.
What else?
What else? Everyone, don't forget to send in your video questions to us, and we'll ask them to Naveen Jain.
Yeah, 30 seconds tops. Try to make it like decent quality if you can, please. You can record it on your smartphone. You can hold it up like that, but just, you know, hold your smartphone up this way, not this way. That way it will be full screen. We'll put you in the bottom left-hand corner, just as you're looking at right now on this live stream. In that bottom left corner where it says longevity, we will put your video there for you to ask Naveen Jain a question. He's a brilliant mind, and I just remembered what I was going to say earlier about Naveen Jain, Rowan. I like to ask as many of the longevity experts that I can how they like to learn. I don't do it as much as I should, but it's a question I like to ask almost everybody. It's just sometimes my interviews are only 30 or 45 minutes and I don't get to this question. But I consider myself a super learner. I was never like super smart in school or anything, never like a standout student. I always got like A's and B's. I never got a C in any final grade in any class from middle school all the way through college. Never got a C. But I got a lot of B's. And I think I've become a super learner just from like using the internet and getting older and continuing to have a growth mindset and refine my learning process and reading and being optimistic and just hustling essentially. What in my last job at LinkedIn was in e-learning. So I've learned a lot about the e-learning industry. And even before that, I was taking like classes on Udacity, and I've always been on the internet, on YouTube, trying to learn all this, most important things to me about health and wealth. The only things that really matter. I mean, your friends and family are what matters like most, but having better health and wealth gives you more time, energy, and resources to enhance those relationships, right?
Yes, exactly.
So with that being stated, I really like to ask intelligent people how they like to learn. And I told you I've watched a lot of content of Naveen Jain, and he has explained how he learns multiple times in interviews and podcasts that I've listened to of him. And what he does is he uses Twitter in a very unique way to follow hashtags, curate the best information on a subject matter, and then he'll use like Google searches and PubMed and stuff from there. And when he takes a new topic, like microbiome, for example, I don't remember the exact date, maybe it was 2012. Let's use that as the date, more or less, when Naveen Jain got interested in the microbiome. You don't go out and read one book by one expert on a subject you're trying to learn. So if you're new to longevity, for example, you don't just want to go and read Aubrey de Grey's book, Indian Aging, from 2007 when it was published, and say, all right, now I know like everything about aging. It's a great book by Aubrey de Grey in 2007, and I still recommend it in 2020. It's withstood the test of time. But you need to do essentially a meta-analysis where you read maybe the top 20 books of the top 20 experts on a subject matter and curate all that, and then do a meta-analysis kind of like in your own head, and you can write it out, you can publish whatever. That's essentially what Naveen Jain has done with the microbiome. And he's also bringing an entrepreneurial mindset and his very unique vision as an entrepreneur and his very unique perception of reality. As you follow him, you learn more and more. If you watched our live stream last night, you picked up on a few things, right? On how he sees the world and how he kind of tackles problems. And so he himself is not a microbiome, scientist, but he's hired, like in my opinion, the best microbiome scientists to work for the biome. So we're going to peek into the mind of Naveen Jain on June 16th at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we hope that everybody watching here can not only join themselves, but tell their friends and family to join this live stream and show your support so that we can end all chronic conditions, all chronic diseases, and maybe even aging as well too.
I agree. And you know what I can tell? Naveen Jain has muchness. You know what muchness is?
Did you say muchness? M-U-C-H-N-E-S-S?
Yeah, muchness. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so it's the term used in Alice in Wonderland. So the Mad Hatter accuses Alice of losing her muchness. He said, "You've lost your muchness." Do you remember that scene?
You know what's so funny? I've seen that movie multiple times. I've even seen like the newer ones with Johnny Depp, but that phrase doesn't hasn't stuck with me. I don't recall that now.
Yeah, and so she's all offended that the Mad Hatter has accused her of losing her muchness, and she's like, "Lost my muchness." So she spends the rest of the movie trying to like regain her muchness because she was like so offended that the Mad Hatter said, "Hey, you lost your muchness," and like so they never explain what muchness is, but we have to kind of put two and two together and come up with our own definition of muchness. I think it has to do with like a lot of the Mad Hatter qualities, a little bit of like that madness, but also like I think it's a childlike curiosity. It's a passion for being alive, the survival spirit. I think it encompasses a lot of things, muchness.
I think you're probably right, Rowan, and I'm sure it's not an exact correlation or an exact replication, but I'm a big fan of Austin Powers, and I think that the same thing with Austin Powers, like, I lost my mojo,
Yes,
baby.
the mojo.
Yeah. So, behave. I think that's probably where he got it from. As I've gotten older and started to watch, over the years, older and older movies and TV shows, you realize that history really repeats itself so much, and Hollywood is not as creative as a lot of people think. They're just redoing, repackaging the same stories and brands and titles, over and over and over again. So, interesting. Muchness. No, I've seen the movies, but Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I'll show you the quote.
Cool.
Muchness, Alice Wonderland, Mad Hatter. Here we go. Wait, I think we have better quality than this. Let's see here.
Wait!
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Johnny Depp.
One of the things you were before. You were much more. Muchier. You've lost your muchness.
My muchness.
In there, something's missing.
So the moral of the story is we cannot lose our muchness. We cannot.
I agree. So tune into the live stream on June 16th, 6 p.m. Pacific time with Naveen Jain to see if maybe we can get our muchness back through improving our microbiome.
Yes. Definitely.
Should we end it there, Rowan? It's almost 12:30.
Yes, that's a good time to end it. All right, thanks for coming, everyone. Peace out.
Thanks for having me on, Rowan. Yeah.
It was awesome.